What I want to talk about now are often called moments of truth. I prefer to call them touch points. Those occasions when the customer comes into contact with you and the things that you do and makes a judgment without even realizing they're doing it. The phrase moments of truth has been around for a long, long time, but there was a fellow called Jan Carlson, made it famous. He wrote about his experience with the title of his book, Moments of Truth. And what had happened, Jan Carlson ran Scandinavian Airlines, SAS Airlines. So what he did was, he thought, right, we've got to get a lot more business from the business traveller. So he set about assessing what are the things that matter to the business traveller. And he didn't do it just by surveying them. He also got his teams together in small groups of 8 to 12 people, with a cross-section of everyone from the pilots right through to all the staff, and bringing in the people who provide support services, like the baggage handlers and others that aren't directly employed by the airline. And they got them to brainstorm what are the moments of truth, or what I would call the touch points, when the organisation comes into contact with a customer, and the customer, without even realising it, makes a decision about it. There's just a whole load of little things. And what he said was, if one of those goes wrong, it's no big deal. But if 4 or 5 go wrong on the same customer journey, all of a sudden they're getting quite irate about it. Or if the same thing goes wrong time after time after time, they get irate about it. And they become unreasonable to deal with. Or worse, they don't say a word, they just book with the opposition next time round. So the point is, how can we assess these things? How can we find out what our touch points are so that we can do those little influencing things so our customers become a lot easier to deal with, and do them consistently every time? Here's an example I've got for you. This is a condensed version of an actual series of touch points put into a customer journey, a cycle of service, just showing all the points, and these are just key ones, there's a lot more in between, where the customer is making a judgment. And you will see that it starts when they enter the car park, not when they enter the supermarket. They're already making judgments about the place before they arrive. You know, is it easy to get into? Is it easy to park? And at times they will judge you unfairly on things that are out with your control, which is why we need to focus on the things that are within our control. And this was exactly what Scandinavian Airlines did. They got all of their touch points, and in their case there was more than 300 of them, and started working on individual ones that were within their control, that they thought would be of most influence to the customer. And Jan Carlson turned around Scandinavian Airlines in 18 months for them to be voted the world's best airline, and extremely profitable within that. And that's just the same processes we use within the supermarket. You know, getting a shopping trolley, what's it like? Because that affects the customer's perception of what it's going to be like shopping in the supermarket. And then there's a whole load of things. You know, is the item out of stock? Well, if your favourite cereal isn't there one time, no big deal. If it's not there 3 or 4 times in a row, there's a lot of other places you can go to buy it, and everything else in that shopping basket. So there's just an example of how this can work.